Cypress Financial Group presents the Retirement Roundtable podcast with John Scallan. Get more at cypressfinancial.net. Now, let's get to the show.
This story is a little heavy. It's about a gentleman. His name is Ron. And I want you to hear what his buddy Jason had to say about Ron after he passed away.
Ron was a guy who never said no. He was always the first in and the last to leave. He missed every anniversary and missed every birthday. You really should have been there, Dad. The day after he died, they brought in a sheet cake. They poured warm soda into red cups. They called it a celebration of life. By Friday, somebody else was already in Ron's chair. The emails didn't stop. The meetings didn't get moved. The company didn't even pause, not even for a breath. In fact, half of the department couldn't go to his funeral because the company said we can't have that many people out at one time.
John, Ron had worked at this company for 33 years. He died 6 months before he planned to retire. His friend says it was just too many years of stress and not enough rest. What does a story like this tell you?
You know, Mark, I think about this a lot. I have seen up close and personal stories like this, maybe not as arduous in terms of, the company that he worked for, but it's not as uncommon as you would think.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I've got clients who are thinking, hey, just a few years more. They're 62, they're 63 years old, maybe 64. They're tired, right? You can see it. And they're telling themselves, hey, let's make it to 65. Let's give me time to max out my Social Security, get a little bit more money saved, and then I will retire. Then I'll live. Mark, here's the thing. What if I don't make it? What if, like Ron, those years you've worked so hard for just don't come?
It's sobering to think about, John. But what do you say to somebody who's pushing themselves way too hard right now? Somebody who's delaying their retirement, even though they could be ready?
Mark, I will ask them one question, and it's simply this. What are you waiting for? And here's what's interesting. Usually it's fear. I hear answers like, I don't know if I have enough. What if I outlive my money? And listen, these are without a doubt legitimate concerns, and I am certainly not dismissing them. But here's what I've learned. The problem of not knowing is you don't know what you don't know. I mean, Mark, here's what I've seen time and time again. People come in, they think they need another 5 years, and we show them the math, the X's and O's. They could retire next year and be, in some cases, absolutely fine. They've been grinding away, missing time with grandkids, missing trips, missing moments that they just won't get back, all because they didn't know that we can calculate this. That's what we do at Cypress. We show you the numbers in black and white.
All right, John. So with that being said, let me give that number, 504-732-1001. Talking to the adults out there that are just ready to retire but don't know, am I there? What is that conversation like? How do you help somebody figure out if they're actually ready to retire?
Well, Mark, first of all, I don't want to, say that every time somebody comes in, they're always ready. But it boils down to the math. We look at what you've saved, what you'll get from Social Security. Maybe you've got a pension, or your spouse has been working for the state or the parish. And, I'll tell you something. I had a guy who came in here about 6 months ago. He had been working at one of the petrochemical plants out in Baton Rouge. A lot of hours, a lot of stress. He was 63. This gentleman thought that he would need to work until 67. We ran the projections, and guess what, Mark? Because this guy was so disciplined at saving, he was so disciplined that his debt was virtually zero, he really could have retired at 61 years old. Think about it, 2 extra years of grinding that he really didn't have to.
So you break the news to him on something like that. Was he elated or was he frustrated? How did he react?
Yeah, great question. I can see him sitting at our conference table. He was quiet just for a moment or two. And then he said, I've been missing my granddaughter's soccer games because of Saturday shifts for the last 2 years. And listen, I did everything that I could to let the guy off the hook, but he really, really felt it. And that's the thing, Mark. We can always make more money. We cannot make more time.
You know, John, my dad used to say that all the time before he passed away. You cannot get more time. And I was like, all right, Dad, whatever. But I was just a kid. And now that I am a father, truer words have never been spoken. That's powerful stuff right there.
Yeah, it is, Mark. And again, I would just encourage our listeners, listen, let's do the math. You may have to keep working, but maybe you don't. Find out what your specific actual numbers are, and you might be closer than you actually think. Even if you're not quite ready, at least you will know. You'll have a target instead of this vague fear that you just can't afford to check out yet.
What about legacy, John? Ron worked 33 years and the company replaced him just like that. So how does legacy come into the conversation?
Mark, I don't know if I'd call that legacy. I mean, that's just a job. To me, what legacy means isn't how many years you showed up for work. I mean, it's the people whose lives you have touched, your family, your friends, the time that you've actually spent with them. I mean, I always say this, when you're 85 years old looking back, what are you going to wish you'd done more of? And Mark, nobody says, I wish I would have worked more overtime. Again, the standard answer, even my own answer, is simply, I wish I would have traveled more with my wife. I wish I would have spent more time with the kids or the grandkids.
So I think it's fair to say that retirement planning is life planning.
Yeah, Mark, it really is. I mean, there's really two facets of this. I mean, number one, it's the X's and O's. And again, I'm not talking about the West Coast offense of financial planning. I'm talking about blocking and tackling. What are your income sources, right? What does your debt load look like? What is your tolerance for risk? I mean, these are the basic fundamentals that we actually drill down on and devise a plan. Mark, we've got, in my mind, some of the finest planning software in the country. I mean, when we run a retirement analyzer, we're showing income. We're having you outline your expenses. We're showing a 3% or 3.5% inflation adjusted retirement plan. We don't run this static. I mean, people get this report in their hands. They walk out of their office. I can't say we can guarantee that you can retire now, but what I can tell you is you are going to have a crystal clear picture of what the numbers are and whether you can retire now or do you need to go a little bit longer.
So, John, somebody's listening right now and they hear you talking. They go, John's speaking to me. I'm in the exact same situation. I'm exhausted. I'm tired. I'm stressed. I'm ready to retire, but I don't know if I'm there. What should they do?
Yeah, Mark, pick up the phone and call us. We would love to talk to you. 504-732-1001. And I give you my solemn word of honor. When you come to Cypress Financial, there's no heavy sales pitch. We want to get to know you. We want to understand what retirement looks like for you. And we want to give you answers that you can actually use. These initial visits, they're always complimentary. I give you my commitment. We will give you a clear picture of where you are. We'll give you ideas on how to make your retirement as stress-free as possible. And again, this plan will not be cookie cutter. It will be personalized for you.
And John, not one, but two locations. Where can we find you and the team?
We are in the heart of Metairie on Causeway Boulevard. This is our flagship office. We've also got a new office on the North Shore, Florida Street in Mandeville, two locations to serve you. Mark, I also want to mention, I literally drove down to Terrebonne Parish just recently to meet with a small business owner. At his place of business. This is a guy who is grinding, man. He's got an incredible business. He's got 25 employees. He said, I need your help, but I can't get away. We'll be happy to meet you there. We do Zoom calls. Again, give us a call, 504-732-1001. It would truly be a privilege to meet you and work on building a retirement that you've always dreamed of.
All right, John. So I want to shift to something that I think catches a lot of people by surprise. This question came into Smart Asset. It was part of the advice column section. And somebody asked, if I take $85,000 out of my 401k, will it make my Medicare premium go up?
That's a great question, Mark. And the answer, by the way, is yes.
Okay, I have a twist for you, John. Not for that year the premium will go up. Your Medicare premium is based on your income from 2 years earlier. So an adult could pull out a big chunk of money and not realize they're going to get hit with a surprise bill down the road. Are you seeing people get blindsided by situations like this?
Yeah, I've seen it a bunch, Mark. I mean, believe it or not, this caveat, right, catches people all the time. And here's what most people don't realize. Medicare looks back 2 years at your income to determine what you are going to pay for that Part B premium. So think about this. You make your decision today, and the consequences don't show up until 24 months later, when in many cases they've forgotten about this big IRA distribution. I mean, talk about delayed reaction.
So, John, walk me through it. How does this actually work?
So when you turn 65 and you enroll in Medicare, you're going to pay a monthly premium for Part B, B as in Bravo. For most folks, this is around $185 per month this current year. But, and this is a big deal, Mark, if your income 2 years ago was above certain levels, you get hit with what's called the IRMA, which stands for Income-Related Monthly Adjustment Amount. That's just a fancy way of saying your $185 is gone and you're paying a higher premium.
And by the way, Irma isn't the long-lost aunt that's going to come over for the holidays. Irma is not our friend, but all of this is based on what you're paying a couple of years ago, right?
Yes, absolutely, Mark. I mean, 2 years ago, Mark. So let's think about this for a minute. You retire in January of 2025, you're 65 and you sign up for Medicare and everything's great. But Medicare is not looking at your 2025 income. They're looking way back at your 2023 tax return, back when you were still working full time, making your full salary. Maybe you got a year-end bonus. Maybe you cashed out all of that unused vacation time. Even though you're now living on half of that income, you're still paying the higher Medicare premium based on what you earned back in 2023. And Mark, in some cases, that can be some real money.
How much are we talking about here, John?
Well, I mean, it's all over the map depending on your income, but let me spitball an example here. Let's say you're married and 2 years ago, your combined income was $220,000. Now you're retired, you don't have that income, and instead of you each now paying that standard $185 a month, it could be $350 a month, $400, maybe more for one person. When you do the math, that's an extra few $1,000s a year times two people. And the thresholds to hit these levels, they're not even that high. Mark, a lot of regular middle-class income folks hit that threshold.
So, John, is there a way to plan around this so I don't have to pay more?
Definitely, Mark. Absolutely. So this is where we get strategic. This is where the financial plan really matters. First, if you know that you are going to retire at 65, we need to be thinking about having some dialogue about this 2 years in advance. What's your income going to look like at 63, 64? Let's say you were planning a distribution for that kitchen remodel. Can we manage the distributions strategically before you hit Medicare age? And here's another thing. How about a Roth conversion? If you convert money to a Roth before you're 65, yes, that creates taxable income in that year, but once it's in a Roth, future withdrawals don't count as income for Medicare purposes. So you can pull money out without triggering these surcharges. And Mark, here's the thing. This is exactly what and why we do retirement planning. And this is why you need specialization. Here at Cypress Financial, we look at the complete picture: taxes, healthcare costs, Social Security, required minimum distributions. And what we'll do here is we'll coordinate all of this, because everything affects everything else in retirement. That's what comprehensive planning looks like, Mark.
All right, so John, somebody's heading into retirement and they want to make sure they're not getting blindsided by something just at this exact situation. What can they do?
Pick up the phone, give us a call, 504-732-1001. Many of our clients go to the homepage at cypressfinancial.net, book an appointment. It's as simple as, let's sit down before you make any big decisions. We will look at your income, your accounts, your timeline. We will map out a strategy that minimizes these surprise costs. These initial meetings at Cypress are completely complimentary. And Mark, listen, even if you're 5 years away from retirement, don't delay. It is not too early. The more time that we have to plan, the more options that we have, Mark, because the alternative is what? You wing it and hope for the best. That is not a plan. That's just hope. Hope is not a strategy. 504-732-1001.
We talk about building individual plans for adults. But John, this is a longer conversation that we'll have over the next couple of weeks. You do a lot of work with small businesses across Southern Louisiana as well.
Yeah, not only Southern Louisiana, the entire state. We've got, small business clients, 50, 100 employees or less, as high as Shreveport, all the way down the boot, Southern Louisiana, the surrounding parishes. Listen, small business owners have a lot on their plate, right? How do I manage expenses? How do I manage taxes? Here's a big one. How do I keep key employees who are the driving force of the success of many of these small businesses? We help these business owners with retirement plans, 401ks, simple IRAs, group benefits, medical, life, the whole shebang. When we help these business owners maximize their benefits for employees, we help them with strategic planning so that they individually, as well as their entire team, has the opportunity to retire on their terms.
Investment advisory services offered through Cypress Financial Group, a registered investment advisor firm. Registration is not an endorsement of the firm by securities regulators. By contacting us, you may be provided with information about insurance products, including annuities offered through Cypress Financial Group, John Scallan, Louisiana Insurance License Number 1064997. The firms are separate entities. Annuity guarantees rely on the financial strength and claims paying ability of the issuing insurance company and are not offered by Cypress Financial Group. Read your contract for restrictions, limitations, or penalties.